Hello, how you doing? It's Simon Still, and I'm back with another video, and I want to talk to you all today about educating your kids on credit cards. Sometimes people may not know what to say or how to teach a kid about credit card safety and what to look out for and just basic principles. So these are just some basic principles that you can get with your child about concerning credit card. We won't go over all the pros and cons of credit cards, but just some basic things they need to know so that they can understand how important they are, and then you can add on to it. But if you don't have a blueprint, here's a basic blueprint for you. So we want to educate our kids on credit cards. Why? Because if we don't, the world will. If you don't educate your child, then eventually they'll get something in the mail from some stranger, and they'll tell them that they can just sign up and apply. And they'll have to deal with all these crazy consequences. So why would you want a child to go through that? We don't. Because we want our youth to be better than us. We desire better for the youth. We desire better for our future. We see our country's economic situation as it is right now, and it's not good. So we want better for them. First thing they got to understand about a credit card is the money is not free. I don't care what credit card they give you or what they say. Teach your child the basic principle, but let them know that's not free money. They're not just giving you money and saying goodbye. Now, there are certain credit cards with benefits, so let's not get technical. We do understand that certain credit cards have benefits as far as points, and if you do spend a certain amount of money, the credit card will give you some type of cash bonus or whatever the case may be. 9 times out of 10, they're expecting that customer to go buy a certain amount and then have to be able to slowly pay it back. So technically, the bonus that they give you, if that credit card isn't paid off immediately within that amount of time or less than 30 days from which you're charged, and they add the interest, then technically when they add that interest on there, that bonus money they're giving you, they're getting back anyway through the interest. So teach your child the basic principle that the money is not free. That's something simple that they can understand. And basically, you got to pay that money back. They're not just giving you a $500 credit card, a $1,000 credit card, $12,000 credit card, and you just pay them back that same amount. No, it's this thing called interest, and it can compound, it can accrue, however you want, whatever you want to call it. It's going to build up as you try to pay it back. So you have to pay back that money off that CC with interest. So let's remember to make sure that we tell our kids that. Define to them what the interest is. Let them know and help them understand what interest means. I think that's very important and will probably deter them from rushing to go get a credit card so soon, especially if they don't know the consequences and what interest means for them. You know, you can have interest working for you, and you can have interest working against you. And when you have interest working against you, it puts you in the hole. So that is something key that you have to show them when teaching them about this. So understand, this is just a basic blueprint. Money isn't free. It's got to be paid back, and they're going to charge you interest. So, and that basically means, kids, if your parents aren't teaching you, just watching this video, is that you will pay back more than you borrowed. It's almost like a loan shark, but it's not illegal. If the bank wants to charge you way more interest than what is reasonable, it's legal for them to be able to get away with it. So understand that you're going to pay back way more than what you borrowed. Basic principles. So if you know you got to pay back way more than what's borrowed, then you got to stick to one of the basic principles that a lot of people did back in the day before credit cards. Teach your child that it is okay to budget. It is okay to save. It is okay to calculate and put money to the side to get those things that you want. It is okay to do those things, and a lot of people have gotten away from that. And when you save and you put it to the side and you purchase it with cash, then you own it outright. We got to get back to teaching our people about ownership, being able to purchase something and be able to call it yours. Next, so we go deal with that basic principle. Basic principle. Save it, then buy it. Save your money, save up the cash, then buy what it is that you want so that you can have ownership. If you do get a credit card, let's deal with that. If you do get a credit card, then you have to understand the importance of paying it on time. But let's also remember the principle. It's okay to have a credit card for emergency and never use it and just stick to the basic principle. The problem is so many people try to keep up with the Joneses instead of keeping up with your budget. I think that's important to remember. Teach your kids, keep up with your budget. It doesn't matter what somebody else is doing, because anybody can put up a front and paint a pretty picture, but in the back, it's not always as pretty as the front. So always teach your child, stay on their pace, stay in their lane, stay with their budget. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. If you do get a credit card, teach the child, another principle that they can learn is pay it on time, and the importance of paying it on time, because it affects their credit score. Teach them about a credit score and how important it is. And also, and let them know they got to pay it on time, because that interest is accruing. Because you can have a loan or something like that in the amount of $1,000, and that was your max. But if you don't pay these things on time and they get out of hand, you'll be paying back way more than what you borrowed, way more than the max of your loan. So teach your kids about their credit score and why it's important to pay these things on time, and how can it affect them negatively if they do not do that. Next time they try to make a big time purchase, or they're moving into an apartment, or whatever the case may be, you can go over some things where their credit score will affect them. Also teach them about that minimum payment. You know, they don't mind if you make a minimum payment on that CC. That minimum payment though equals a long-term relationship. You know, you just developed a boyfriend or a girlfriend as you make those minimum payments on those CCs. So always remember that. You know, if you can knock it out and go ahead and make some higher payments instead of the minimum, then that's good, because you don't want to have to try to pay on this credit card forever. Next, also teach them not to have a dependency on this credit card. There's so many people right now in our country, and we're not bashing or shaming them, but right now they've put themselves in a situation where they're dependent on this credit card to make it through the month, to make it through the year. The credit card, the debt, the money that is not theirs, is how they make it through the month and how they make it through the year. And that's a bad situation to be in, because one emergency or one Murphy's Law situation, and all of a sudden, now they can't even pay the credit card. We got to eventually learn how to survive without the CC. Learn how to survive without the credit card. Learn how to survive without this relationship of having to use this credit card in a negative manner. There's positive ways to use the credit card. We already know that. I'm not talking about those positives. I'm talking about when the credit card becomes dangerous and it becomes a dependency for someone to survive off of. It's easy to develop that dependency on the CC. Don't beat yourself up if you're in this situation. Don't get down and upset and think that there's no other way to survive. What you have to do is slowly wean yourself off the card. Slowly get to the point where you can survive financially without this CC. And it just takes time, it takes practice, and it takes really staying on top of that budget to be able to make this happen. Develop a budget and slowly just wean off of stuff. If you got to get rid of cable, get rid of cable. If you got to get rid of Netflix, get rid of Netflix. Whatever it is that you have to charge, extra snacks, whatever it is, get rid of those things so you can survive. $1 at a time, you can make it. Lastly, if you're trying to teach your kids about credit cards, show the kids the math. You know, let them do the math. Get a calculator if you need one, but just basic math skills to understand when a credit card says they're going to charge you this amount of percent, this amount of interest. Let kids be able to figure that out. You know, simple things. You know, if you borrow $5,000 and they say they're going to charge you 10%, you know, let them understand that that's another $500. So you're not just paying back $5,000, you're paying back $5,500. You know, if you get something, if you spend $500, you get a loan or a credit card, whatever the case may be, and they're going to charge you 25% interest, just know that's an additional $125 added on to that $500 you borrowed. So you're going to end up paying back $625. It's okay to wait till you have enough money and then buy it yourself without having to pay them back all that money. You save yourself money in the long run. Also, last but not least, please subscribe, like, and share the videos. Take time out with your kids. Educate your kids or some youth that you know. If you don't want to sit down and talk to them about it, let them sit down and watch this video. Help them understand the video. Pause it. Talk about certain things throughout the video if you need to. Put it on pause and then go through the rest of it. It would only take maybe 15, 25 minutes to go through this with a child and help them understand. All right, be blessed. And remember, please like and subscribe, share. I'll come with some more videos with basic principles, and also we'll do some more videos about some other important things. All right.